certain things that you know about yourself that you ain't telling nobody. That's the part I'm talking about. See, if you expose a disease to light, the light will kill it. That's why cultures grow in darkness. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
The root of a tree, when it is exposed to the light kills it. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So it is with the diseases of the heart. Once the heart is laid bare so that the light may get to it, then you start the cleansing and purifying process. And I say this to all of the Muslims and all of the visitors here. If you never hear me teach again in life, if you will remember that if we made advancement and on this block, that block, round the corner, up the street, down the way, all down south, on it, got planes and got farms, got tractors, got everything, you still stand a chance of going down with the devil, the Caucasian, if you don't operate on this heart.
Yes, sir.
Now the way to do it, if I may be, is to learn enough humility to recognize that there is someone in existence bigger and greater than you. And when you learn that there is a God that is bigger and greater than you, who is responsible for all this wonder that we call universe, then you must learn how to contact him. What man having a river outside of his home in which he bathes 5 times a day would come away unclean? What heart exposed to sincere worship of God in prayer 5 times a day would remain dirty? Prayer is the means of purification of the heart. That's the start. Prayer. What else? After prayer, the way of purification is the doing of good deeds. That all makes you purer. Another thing that purifies, prayer is number 1, but sacrifice. When you think you're down to the last dime, if you can give it, sacrifice it, that's a purifying thing. You know, it's a heck of a thing to hoard things.
Yes, sir.
You know, take money and grow it and look at it. Boy. Then all of a sudden you get sick and wipe out your bank account. And your whole mind is blown because you have never tried sacrificing to draw close to Almighty God. I'm closing now. You know, beloved, I look at the charity record of all of us in the temple. And you know, the final call, every week, we have not missed paying the workers. They have not missed 1 week. Ever since this business has been established, in 5 years, everyone has gotten their pay every week. It's not the biggest pay in the world, but it's steady. And I looked the other day to see if those who get paid from the final call give back anything. And I was surprised to see how many who work for the nation in the final call do not contribute in charity. I was surprised to see big zeros behind people's names For the whole month, they didn't give nothing. And worked every day. How can you purify? I said, no wonder we're having little financial problems. I said, yeah, it is. And every one of you that make a salary and will not give back to the source from which your salary came, you are diminishing yourself and don't even realize it. Don't you know that in the Bible it tells you that you should give at least 10%? The Quran doesn't specify like that, but it says spend out of what we have given you. That means every week that you make something, whatever church you belong to, whatever organization that you believe in, you should give a portion of what you earn back to some charitable cause that will carry on the work of good. And every week that you earn a check, I mean, you should come in and say 10% of it, I'm giving it back to the cause. Well, I ain't giving nothing to see no niggas riding around in Mercedes-Benz and Rolls Royces and that kind of stuff. Now, wait a minute. That's a hypocrite who's trying to make excuses for not giving and want others to stop giving. Do you know that if Farrakhan was a robber and everything that you gave, I took it and squandered it, that still would not rob you of your blessings, because you gave it sincerely to help, but the person that you gave it to was a rotten bum. So God don't stop your blessings because the person that was the steward of the charity was a bum. God will bless you even though your pastor is a thief. It's a principle that's bigger than personality. Do you hear what I'm saying? I'm saying that every one of you that work, when you come, there's a charity window set up. Look at what you made. I made $100, 10 of it belonged to the nation. I made 150, 15 belonged to the nation. I made 250, 25 belonged to the nation. You say, but I can't afford it. Give it. Don't tell God what you can't afford. Give the money and see that you'll always make it. In fact, you'll make it better after you start giving than the way you're doing now, robbing God. Will a man rob God? Yes, they'll rob him. They rob him all the time. Now, I have another kind of problem. My problem is this. You ready for this? Yes, sir. Much of what is given to me in the number 2 port treasury from around the country, I spend that out almost every month. Practically every penny I give back. I'm not supposed to do that, but conditions are such that I do that. Now, look, beloved, I'm not trying to say I'm better or this or that and the other. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, beloved, I really want to purify this. I would like to be pleasing to Allah, not from the outside, but I would like God to make me pleasing to Him from the inside. So I'm working to purify this. And it's not only the prayer, but the conduct behind it. And I'm saying to you, beloved, you must pray. All people who believe in God must pray. Not this tired thing. Well, Lord, I'm tired. All praise to Allah. Thank you for the day, Allah. Boom. That's not the way you do it. If you can't give Him time right, don't give it at all, because you can't fake the God out with a little cheap word and jump into bed. Take your time. Give Him some of the time. That's all He asks of us, is that we thank Him. You can't do anything for Him, but your thanking Him is good for you. Is that right? Yes, sir. Prayer. Then follow your prayer up with deeds of charity, and then sometimes make a sacrifice. Do something that will hurt you to do it, but do it. And watch how much it brings you closer to the purity of conduct, purity of thought, purity of actions coming from purity of heart. Now I close. Beloved, listen. Savior's Day is just around the corner. I believe by the help of Almighty God, Allah, it may be the biggest Savior's Day since we've been up rebuilding the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I need your help to make it successful. Not just a moderate success, but what kind of success do we want? What kind of success? Overwhelming success. Well, how can we have an overwhelming success with an underwhelming work? Ain't no such word, but I'm making it up. If we want overwhelming success, we must work how? Overwhelmingly hard. Is that correct? To overwhelm what? The opposition to your success. All right, now, here we are. We are 6 weeks from Savior's Day. No, not quite. About 5 weeks from Savior's Day. We're 3 weeks from the end of the drive. We've already beat our best year, but that's nothing. We shouldn't gloat over that. Sunday, I gave the nation a challenge. We want 50,000 patrons. This is charity too. This is actually a means of purification too. I know that there are people behind those doors out there in the city of Chicago that believe in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the work that we are doing, and they don't know how to contact us to help us. But you know, if we were to go to them and just ask them if they would support strong black leadership by just putting their name as a patron in our ad book for $10, you'd be surprised how many people would help with their $10. What do you want the $10 for? If it be the will of Allah, brothers and sisters, your bakery plant will be open sometime in March. Fish House number 1 will be open at the same time. We intend to develop that block. We haven't decided what businesses we're going to put there, but every business that we put there will give you employment. Our idea is to create jobs and make the final call the employment office for black people. Okay? We're moving around the corner. I don't want to talk too much. We're already in contract for certain buildings around here and there. Here and there. Which create more jobs. Are you listening?
Yes, sir.
If we sold the ads, not only would we make Savior's Day an overwhelming success, but you put me in a position to leverage the money.
That's right.
To get us the things that start us into material progress.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's path and make as much material progress as we possibly can. But I don't think material progress will change your mind. If your heart will not change under the truth, then all the businesses we establish will only make you see Farrakhan as a businessman. And I'm as far from being a businessman as the earth is from the sun. That is not what I was born into the world for. I don't like it. I know business is life itself, but that's not what I was cut out for. Don't misunderstand me. I respect it, but it's not my thing. You understand?
Yes, sir.
When the messenger made me a minister, he didn't tell me get involved in the business. He said, brother, you preach. and let your laborers handle the business. And when I used to come to Chicago, the messenger told me he would put on my tape when he was feeling low in spirit, and my tape would revive him, because he said business robbed him of the spirit to teach. And that's why he kept me out of business and put me on the radio to teach the word, because he was involved in getting the nation up economically, and it robbed him of the spirit to teach. And let me tell you something. You can't be all involved in the mechanics of business, which is cold, and be a spirit-filled preacher for Almighty God that deals with the affairs of the heart and the emotions and the tenderness and the compassion that it takes to give mercy. See, there ain't no mercy in business. Business is cold and calculating and merciless. That's not me. I'm tenderhearted and warm and filled with compassion. That's not my field. So when people bring me business propositions, you're really bringing it to the wrong man. Because when you bring me business, I'm looking to see if God is in it. If I see God in it, I entertain it, but then I turn you over to the business people. The business people, they come at you like business people should. You know, like the man said in The Godfather, he said, tell Michael, wasn't nothing personal, just business. That's not my thing. But I will be glad to set it up and let business people run it. Okay? I don't like spiritual men involved in business, because it robs spiritual men when they always have to think of dollars and cents rather than the good of things that are being proposed. So leave the spiritual man out of that. You business people, take care of the business. I'll oversee. But I'm going on with the spiritual work. I trust that God has given me plenty of people who know business and love it. And they'll take care of all the business that's necessary for the Nation of Islam. What is his mission? A clear delivery of the message. God may allow me to see part of it. He may cause me to die. All praise is due to Allah. But whatever he has planned, my job is just a clear delivery of the message. He will do the calling to account. I'm asking you for your help. And I know that, you know, it's not easy to go out and meet people and ask them for $10. Is it?
No, sir.
But just think, if you were selling Columbia Reefer, and you knew you had a good product that get people high and out of their mind, do you mind asking them for the money? Come on.
No, sir.
Say, if you got the baddest stuff on the block, say, look here, man, you got to pay for this. This is that stuff that'll blow your head.
Yes, sir.
Is that right? Did you ask for the bucks?
Yes, sir.
You got a little shame and, you know, bashful. Well, I would ask you, but no, you get right down to the bottom line.
Yes, sir.
Well, you know, you got a good product.
That's right.
You got Islam. You've got the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, which is the best teaching that a black man has ever had, ever in history. You got it. Don't be ashamed to ask people to help you to support it. I'm asking for your help. We've got 3 weeks. Brother Khalid is going to have to be out of the city. He can't be here overseeing, pushing men to get up and do. Men are going to have to say, I want to do it. Whether Brother Khalid is here to push me or not, I'm going to push myself. Because if a man got to push you to do what you got the spirit, mind, and will to do, then the credit don't go to you. The credit goes to the pusher. And every time you make a success, it really is not yours. It's his, because he drove you to do what you didn't have in yourself to do. Show the brother that you got it in your heart to do this on your own. And make him proud that when he returns from where he is going, that you will have the 10,000 names. He ain't going to be gone that long, but you can do it if you want to. Right, brothers?
Yes, sir.
But what about the sisters? You know, in the church, it's the women that build the church, brother. Is that right, sisters? I don't know what it is that those pastors got. I mean, I don't know. I never been, a preacher or nothing like that. Not that kind of preacher. But them preachers must have something. Because the women will sure enough work forever. The men go to sleep. They fall out. They don't come. But not them women. Those women building these churches all over Chicago. Who building them? Women. Now, you mean to tell me, sisters, that your little brother who preaches to you this wonderful message of the messenger, that you don't have the spirit or the will to go out and get 10 names or 20 or 30 that will put their name in our ad book? When if you do this, you might put me in a position to get a school for your children. We already got the building picked out.
That's right.
School board has said they would allow us to get the particular building that we saw. But buildings don't make schools. It's teachers and pupils and curriculum that make schools. But we're working on the building because we can't have it here. Won't you help me? If you do, you will be the one that's happy. Now, I'm going to be happy too, to see you happy. But don't think that business is going to change your heart. This coming Saturday, if it be the will of Allah, we will be making our first leg of what I consider the final tour. Introducing to the people a concept that was brought to me by a brother who believes. Based on the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, I'm going to tell you something. There are people out there that study the messenger's teaching, and they look into it and develop ways and means of how to make the teaching real. Such has happened. We feel very fortunate that if we work this principle, 1985 may show that we made more progress toward getting our people into self-help than any other year in the history of black people in this country. This Saturday night in Detroit at the Cobo Hall, which seats 13,000 people, wouldn't it be something if that place was jammed to the rafters? Yes, what kind of message you think that would say to the world if Farrakhan goes to Detroit, 13,000 people come out not to hear a rock star, but to hear a black man deliver the word of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? And this is the first time I will be making a speech with a thought in my mind before I start that there's something I want everybody in this audience to do before they leave this auditorium. And I believe God is going to bless us to get our people to start in Detroit doing for self. And that's where the nation began, in Detroit. It is fitting that we should return to where it began and get that city rolling, and from there get the country rolling. 1985, the biggest year for black people and the toughest year for white people. Will you help me? All praise is due to Allah. Now, brothers and sisters, if you would like to go to Detroit to be with me in Detroit, we'll be back here for Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. And we'll be out of here in time so you can go check the Super Bowl out if that's your thing. But on Saturday, if you'd like to go, we can rent a bus. Get a nice bus, comfortable, restroom, $35 per believer, round trip. And you can go to Detroit and check it out, get back on the bus, and move on back to Chicago. If you care to go, let us know and we'll get the bus. How many of you think you'd like to go to be with us in Detroit? Really? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Do you have the $35 to make it? What'd you say?
Sacrifice.
Brother said sacrifice. How many of you have the $35 right now? I believe you'll get it by the weekend, that you can make that trip to Detroit. May I see your hands? Would you count those hands real quick? We got to have it by Friday. Of course, that's when the eagle flies. Is it dove? Oh, it brings peace. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31? Huh? Okay. So I think we can get one bus of 47 passengers. That's not bad. One bus coming from, look, I think it's good that we go and support Detroit.
That's right.
Because we intend to bring at least 10 buses out of Detroit for Savior's Day. If you care to go, we'll be there. And brothers, this will be the most dangerous tour that I have ever made in the 7 years of the rebuilding and in the 30 years of my teaching. That devil does not intend for me to live this year out. I just tell you what he plans. But you know what I said here. Allah is the planner. They don't intend for me to make it through this 85. They're scared to death of that brother named Farrakhan. And I think I want to shake him up a little bit more. You know.